Okay. Today we're going to learn En Yaakov from the Yerushalmi. That's a continuation of the story of Rav Khana. He ran to Bavel, and then, according to what we learned, Rabbi Yochanan had a kpeda on him, and he died. Then what happened afterwards? He did Chias HaMeisim, whether he went back to his cave to continue, not to go back to life afterwards, or he went back to life. So there's different opinions. So here what we see in Yerushalmi, continuation of that story. It's Yerushalmi, Maseches Brochas. The Gemara says over there, they used to call him in Yerushalmi Kahana. And the reason we're going to see, he was a young man. So we say it's amazing. He was a young man when he argued Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan was way older than him, and at the end, Rabbi Yochanan called him, he's my Rebbe. If you remember, when he came to the cave, the snake didn't want to let him in. So he says, let the Rebbe go to the Talmud, to his student. The snake didn't let him in. He says, let the friend go to a friend. The snake didn't. Tell him, let the Talmud go to the Rebbe. Rabbi Yochanan, way older than him, the author of the Yerushalmi, called himself a Talmud to Rav Khana, and then the snake let him in, and this Rav Khana, in Yerushalmi, they call him Kahana, have a ulam sagin, meaning he was a young man. Katzalig lahoche, when he went to lahoche, that's the Yerushalmi, meaning into Eretz Yisrael, when he came over there, and Chamte Chad Bar Pachin, a different Pirushim by the Pashtus, one man that wasn't what we call, from the low barrel of the society, like we would call a low life. We're going to see soon. And he tried to make fun of Rav Chia. Why? Because people knew the story. That Rav Chia was somebody that died, and he had Chias HaMeisim, and he came back to life. And he told him, Amar leh ma kala b'shmayo. Since you were in heaven, you came back to life. What did you hear in heaven? And he said in such a way, not as a respectable way, as they're making fun of him. Like they never saw such a phenomenon. Somebody died and he had Chias HaMeisim. They never saw this. Amar leh, Rav Chia didn't like the way he spoke to him, and he told him, Gozar dina da'u gavro michtam v'chen havas lehumis. Rav Chia told him, so I'll tell you what they heard in heaven. That they put a decree on you, and that time in Babel and Eretz Yisrael, they used to speak to people like to the third party. Says the whole Gavra, this man, he meant to say him. That this man, meaning you, that I see they have a decree in heaven for you that you're going to die. And that's what happened. The Gemara says, this man that made fun of Rav Chia, Rav Khana. I'm mixing up. The reason I'm mixing up, I'm going to soon bring a story between Rav Khana and Rav Chia. Anyway, so Rav Khana told this man, I saw there's a decree against you, and this man, Takahawa, he died. Okay. Togabe Chamte Chad Choron. Someone else on the way met Rav Khana, and Omar Le Ma Kala B'Shmai told him the same thing, made fun of him. He says, well, what are they saying in heaven? Omar Le Gzar Din Da'u Gavra Michta Mechin Havaslei. He told him the same answer. He didn't like the way they speak with disrespect. He told him, I see a decree that you're going to die, and that's how it happened. The second man died. That made fun of Rav Khana. So he said, Omar Masalek is Mazakev Ano Echtei. He said, I came over here. Salek is mean I went up to Eretz Yisrael from Babel. You come up. It's higher. He says, but I'm going to now start sinning. Masalek is Lemitilev and Arad Yisrael. So what I came over here to kill the Klal Yisrael. Everybody going to get angry with me. And Kana, the big koyach, and him was a huge Talmud Chacham. His kpeda was a kpeda. So he says, what I came over here to Eretz Yisrael to kill people. He says, Nezel v'nechusli min hodas lake. He says, if that's what's going to happen over here, people are going to make fun of me, and I'm going to have a kpeda on him, on them, and they're going to die. I'd rather go back to Babel. He didn't want to kill people. He didn't do it with his hands, but he saw the effect it's doing over here. Now, he wants to go back to Babel, that's where he came from, but he wants to get permission from Rabbi Yochanan. He doesn't want to go. We're going to see soon why it was so important, that element of getting permission from Rabbi Yochanan. So it says, also legabe Rabbi Yochanan. He came to Rabbi Yochanan. So he didn't want to ask him clearly, can I go back to Babel, because he was afraid he might tell him no. Then he's stuck. From one hand, he says over here, things don't go well. I'm causing over here people to die. So he told him like this. He went to Rabbi Yochanan. He said like this. Varnash de ime mevasrelei. He says there is a man that his mother is not treating him well. She's embarrassing him. He told him in a riddle, in a such a martial way. Says his mother embarrassing him. The said the avue mokrale, and the wife of his father honors him. Meaning those days people would be allowed to marry two wives. His own biological mother embarrassing him, don't treat him well, and the wife of the father, meaning his stepmother, treating him well, giving him an honor. So he asked Rabbi Yochanan, Lehen Yezaleh, with who he should live? He should live in the house with his own mother that's going to constantly embarrass him, or he should go live in the house with the father, which is over there, the stepmother, the wife of his father, treating him well with respect. What should he do? So Rabbi Yochanan told him, Omar leyezel lehen demokrinle. He should go to the place where they honor him. He doesn't have to suffer to live with his mother. If she is embarrassing him, she's mistreating him, let him go live with his stepmother. That's what Rabbi Yochanan told him. This whole thing, the question was a deep question over here, if he should go back to Babylon. Why? Because the mother over here of Rav Khana was Eretz Yisrael. And in many countries they call the motherland, they call the land their mother. The mother over here, well, a person was created from the earth. That's his mother. The offer, a person was created from the offer, from the earth. That's his mother. So that's why he says, Eretz Yisrael, though, that's called the mother, Eretz Yisrael.
Which earth was
Oh, so the Rashi brings over there he picked up the earth from all over the world, but the main thing was in Eretz Yisrael. So the mother called Eretz Yisrael. He said like this, in Eretz Yisrael, the mother, meaning the land, the earth, the people over here, embarrassing me. Here, here's the experience he had with two people on the way, making fun of me, well, what you see in heaven. So, and it says the stepmother, which is that Bavel, that's the father, meaning Avinu Shabashamayim, got married to a second wife, meaning over here he sent Bnei Israel to Babel, to the Golus. There's a whole big community over there. That's the stepmother, Mokum Torah over there. But it's not your mother like Eretz Yisrael. Over there, they would give him honor. Rav Khana was a very respectable man in Babel. Says, where should he go? He didn't tell this Rav Yochanan. He put it in a riddle. Rav Yochanan told him, go to where they honor you. Meaning, basically, give him permission to go to Babel. And he took the permission. He didn't say what he coded in this question. And he went to Babel. He went back to Babel. It says, Nochas le kahana min hen de solak. So, Asun Amri le Rabbi Yochanan nochis kahana le Babel. After he left already to Babel, they told Rabbi Yochanan that, again, in Babel they call him kahana. It could be because he was a young man. The Tom Kahana left back to Babel. Omar ma have mezel de lo mesav reshus. He said, how did he go without asking for permission? There is an Indian to ask for permission to. We see such an Indian in many places in Shas that they by Shlomo HaMelech we see when they got brocha from him before they left after the binyan Beis Hamikdash when they left. By Rashbim Bar Yochai we see the story in Moed Katan over there. How Yehuda ben Geirim and Yonasan ben Otnai, I think the name was, before they left, they came ask permission. There's an Indian to ask permission. It's derech eretz to ask permission before you go away from the Mora de Asra, even though Rabbi Yochanan himself called himself a Talmid to Rav Khana, but Rabbi Yochanan was the Mora de Asra. He was the Rosh Hashiva and Eretz Yisrael, and Rav Khana felt no matter what, I'm still under his authority. I need to get the permission, and he got it in his way. But Rabbi Yochanan did not know he left without. He thought he left without permission. So he asked him, why didn't he come for permission? Amrin lei he milta the Omar lecha he having until us the shud day. That's what he told you. He came and he told you such a riddle that his mother disrespects him and the stepmother respects him. Where should he go? You meant the mother at Israel, the stepmother Bovel, and that was his permission. Chlal, we see the Indian of permission. We see there's an Indian besides the permission is like a bracha also. It's a bracha for the way. They say a Maisa with the Rebbe Rashab. There was a man, a chassid in his time that wanted to go to America. Those days, still America, Ada Yom, was people wanted to go from all over to America. It was a place of opportunity. It was less problem of parnosa like in other countries. And he asked for permission to go to America, and the Rebbe Rashab didn't give him permission to go. Besides that, there was opportunity with that parnosa in those days to come to America was spiritually suicidal. Because there's nothing here. People that came over here, they came lechatchila to drop everything, to live kachol goyim am Yisrael. That's why I wanted to leave. Later on, it's improved a lot in the last, we could say, 80 years. But originally, it was, we're talking about now, from the time of Rebbe Rashab, we're talking about 150 years ago, Be'erech. He wanted to come here, and the Rebbe Rashab told him no. So, after a few months, he decided he's going to try again his luck. He came to the Rebbe Rashab, he told him he wants to go to America. The Rebbe Rashab told him no. Then one day he decided he's going to go back and forth. The Rebbe going to tell him no. He came to the Rebbe, he said, Rebbe, I'm coming to tell you, I'm leaving to America. I'm coming, says, Katina Kaberech from Beis HaSefer. Says, like a child running away from a school. At least I wanted to know I went to America. I don't want to so the Rebbe Rashab didn't tell him anything. Didn't give him a bracha, didn't tell him anything. And when he left, the boat that he went to America, it's drowned, and he died on the way. So the family came running and crying and screaming to the Rebbe Rashab, told him, why didn't you knew obviously that's going to happen to him. Why didn't you tell him? So the Rebbe says, we don't say why, we just say what to do. I told him not to go. I don't say why. I tell you not to go. So the idea of asking bracha from before you go out of town, from Mora de Asra, in that case, Rav Khana with Asra, bracha from Rabbi Yochanan, it was more than permission, a bracha. It was a bracha, it's a part of your bracha sending you that leviyah, that's giving you a shtickle protection on the way. Anyway, so that's what we see from here, according to this Yerushalmi. So Rav Khana didn't die again after Rabbi Yochanan made the Tchias HaMeisim. He went back and he went to Eretz Yisrael. That's one raya from here. Now, this is Yerushalmi Brochas Perek Sheni. Okay. Yerushalmi Brochas Perek Sheni. Now,
after he went to Bavel,
again, he originally from Bavel. He ran away from Bavel to Rabbi Yochanan, and Rabbi Yochanan was makpid than him. He died. He made a Tchias HaMeisim. It's all in Baba Kama. He made Tchias HaMeisim, and then was a shaila. What happened to him afterwards? Some saying he went back to die because he didn't want to go through this process of dying again. Some saying no, he was living. From this Yerushalmi Mashma, he was alive. And then when they made fun of me that he saw his kpeda killing people, he said, I didn't come over here to kill people. He went back to Bavel. That's according to this. Now the question is. We see more that raya that he went back to Bavel. One raya that he went back to Bavel. It's the Gemara and it's few Gemaras in Psochim talk about one of Daf Mem Tes in Psochim in Bavli. The Gemara says like this. And it's also a shaila. Who was Rav Khana? That's a very, very controversial. He was a kohen or not? Khana, mashma l'choira, a kohen. So Gemara says, "Daf Mem Tes and Psochim." Omar Rav Khana, Ilo Nasivna Kahantam. If I would not, that's also a raya from here that he went back to Babel. This Gemara also. The Gemara, it's all good. Rav Khana, Omar Rav Khana, Ilo Nasivna Kahanta Lo Galoi. Because if I would not be married to a Kohen, a Bas Kohen, I would not go to Golus. This whole Gemara talks over there that getting married to Bas Kohen, it's a risky business. Because Aaron HaKohen, the father of the Mishpacha, sometimes he says, I'm not interested in such a chosson. So either it have to be Kohen, either have to be a Talmud Chochem. But that's the Gemara, the Gemara. If it's not a Kohen, it have to be a Talmud Chochem. So Rav Khana, so the Gemara brings different stories. Some people succeeded marrying Bas Kohen. Some people saying they're experienced. Some people, no, they didn't succeed. Rav Khana saying what happened to him, he married Bas Kohen. Elon said, but Kahanta lo Galo, I wouldn't go to Golus. He says, Mashma from here, from this Gemara, he came back to Babel and he complaining about his Golus in Eretz Yisrael. His Golus was going to Eretz Yisrael. He had to run away. So Mashma, he came back to Babel. And Mashma also, he was not a Kohen, because if he's a Kohen, what's the problem marrying a Kohenes? The whole chashash of marrying is for Yisrael, not for a Kohen.
Is there a need for a Kohen not to leave Eretz Yisrael? Such a thing. I mean,
from Tumas Eretz Amim, yeah, for everybody, it's a problem to leave.
Right,
but in this case, it was like I say, he felt he's doing a harm over there to people with this kpeda. That's why he left back. Yeah. In any case, the Gemara says like this: Amrulei v'alamokim Torah Golisa. What do you mean you're saying you were in Golus? You went to Mokim Torah. You went to Rabbi Yochanan. It wasn't like a Golus that you. So it's not. It wasn't so bad that you married. Yeah. So you answer them, look, gal like the Gale Insha. I didn't go like everybody else. Rashi brings Rav Khana, Golom, Ibava, let's get Omar, Ba'goizel, Amachel, let's go Bakama, because he had to run away. So that's not that I'm going to yeshiva out of town. This was a real golus, I had to run away. So from here, Mashma, he came back to Babel, and he tell people that his golus in Eretz Yisrael was because he was married a Kohen, and from here, Mashma, that he was not a Kohen. Now, in Tosfos, over there, ask like this. If you look in Daf Kuf Yud Gimel, in Psochim, Mashma, he was a Kohen. How do we know? Because his Rebbe, Rav, told him, Amal Rav Rav Kahana. And Daf Kuf Yud Gimel in Psochim. Hafach benevelto velo tepach b'mileh. You know, some people, for a living, they talk a lot. They maybe salespeople, and maybe they preachers. Rav Khana told Rav, don't speak too much. Better go on the street, find a dead animal and skin the animal, sell the skin, but don't speak too much, he says. Don't. Then he told him another. Pshoit nevelta b'shuka v'shokil agra v'lotema kahano ano v'gamra rabo ano v'sani b'melza. He says, better go skin the animal on the shuk, on the streets, and sell the skin, for money. And don't say, I'm a Kohen, I'm Gavra Rabo, I'm a big man. No, making money, it's very respectable. You're making money. So from here, B'Lechora Mashma, he says, V'latema kahana ana. Don't say I'm a Kohen. So the Tosfos asked the question. From this, Gemara Mashma, Daf Mem Tes, he was a Yisrael, was not a Kohen. And from the Gemara, Daf Gimel Mashma, he was a Kohen. So the Tosfos answer, he says, Lo b'shvil shaya Kohen. No, he's not a Kohen. Elo shekach hoya shmoy. His name was Kahana. He told him, Lo tema kahana ano. Don't say, I am Kahana. Or like some people have a good last name. Oh, I'm this such a last name. I cannot do this. No, don't say that. Any parnosa you do, it's respectable. Even such a parnosa, like you have to skin the animal on the street. It's very, very not honorable parnosa, but you're making an honest buck. It's anyway. So from here, Mashma, from the Tosfos, that Rav Kahana was not a Kohen. Okay, and he went also Mashma like the Yerushalmi. He went back to Bavel and he lived there. Now that's not the end of this. There's so much controversy on Rav Khana, because we have in the Gemaras Rav Khana was Talmud of Rav, and then we have Rav Khana that was time of Rav Ashi. Rav was the beginning of the Amoraim. The Gemara has many times Rav Tano Palik. He was the end of Tanoim, beginning of Amoraim. Rav Ashi was the end of Amoraim. He wrote the Talmud Yerushalmi, and we see Rav Khana speaks to Rav Ashi. So how could that be? The same Rav Khana lived by Rav, and so many years later is talking in Lamdas with Rav Ashi. How could that be? So some saying it was 2 Rav Khana, some saying it was 3 Rav Khana. Here is another story with Rav Khana. We see here a very strong raya. He was a kohen. That's bring a big question. If he was a kohen, why he said in Pesachim Daf Mem Tes that marrying a kohenes, bas kohen, hurt him? Did he have to go? He was a kohen. How could that hurt him? Such a thing. We'll see now a few options. The Gemara is in Sanhedrin in Yerushalmi. The Gemara is like this: Rav Chia bar Vo. That's Rav Chia bar Abba. They call him over there in Yerushalmi. They have a little bit different way they say they call people. Rav Chia bar Vo have a kohen matzle. He was davening. All Rav Khana v'kamla min choyre matzle. Came Rav Khana, start davening behind him. Chosel Rav Chia. Rav Chia finished davening. V'Yosef le begin to lo me'evar koma. Yosef le, the Meforshim, the Pnei Moshe says over here, he delayed from doing Oiseh Sholem after he finished davening, because you're not allowed to do Oiseh Sholem when somebody behind you davening still. He didn't want to interrupt his davening. So Rav Chia was waiting for Rav Khana to finish davening. Shor Rav Khana marich b'tzloisei. Rav Khana was davening ba'arichus b'miyuchad very long. Kevan dechosel, when he's done, Omar atun nahagon letzaure Rabbi Choin. He says, are you guys, meaning Rav Khana, which is Babylonian. So he says, meaning you guys, the Babylonian, you don't have derech eretz for elderly people, for your Rebbe, Rav Chia. At that time, he was one of the greatest one of the great Rabbanim in Eretz Yisrael, and over here comes a young Rav Khana, as we said. He was young over there in time when he was in Eretz Yisrael, and he's delayed. Rav Chia have to wait for him for Oiseh Sholem. Amal Rebbe, so Rav Khana answered him, Anami bes Eli ka'asino. Says, I'm coming from the house of Eli. Eli HaKoyen that got the curse that Marbis Bescha Yamusu Anoshim. All your children, you're going to die. And the Gemara and Bavli talk about it. That's by 18 they used to die. All those the Beis Eli. Dichsibu im ischaper oven Beis Eli bezevach u'mincha. It says Hashem gave an oath. It's even bezevach u'mincha. They're going to bring korbanos. It would be no kapora for their aveira. And he says bezevach u'mincha and miskaper. So Rav Khana learned. But Pasuk says there's no kapora bezevach u'mincha even to bring korban. He says. Aval miskaper betfila. The Gemara and Bavli brings this like Abaye v'Rabbe. That's not miskaper bezebach u'mincha miskaper betoiro miskaper betoiro b'gemilos chasodim. So we see over here a third thing miskaper betfila. It says that's why I'm davening ba'arichus. It says I want Hashem to forgive me, and I should have arichus yom, not like mishpacha. Through tefillah I wanna convert the decree to l'chaim. Yeah. V'tzolei Aloi, so Rav Chia, when he heard that, he had Rachmanas on him, he prayed for him. V'zocher lemisav, he had a schus to be old man, Rav Chia, ad yisavidun tufrei sumkin k'hador de koka. Till he was so old that his nails became red like a little baby already. You know, when you get old, the things turn becoming more things like a baby. So he became so old that his nails turned red. Meaning, according to this, Rav Chia was ma'arich yomim. And by the way, that's one of the options. So first of all, before we go to answer about when did he leave or what era, so first of all, it's a big kasha over here. In the Bavli Mashma, clearly, he was not a kohen. He says, because I married a bas kohen, I suffered golus. Over here, Mashma Feirush, he was a kohen. Me Beis Eli Kasim. I'm coming from Eli. So what he was, a kohen or not a kohen? So there's few answers possible. A could be he was not a kohen, but his mother was from the Beis Eli. He was worried from the Klola might even work on the mother's side. That's one option. I think the Seder Adoris offers such an option. And the other option possible, he doesn't say that's the other possible. The whole idea why people when getting married to a bas kohen, it's a problem unless he's a kohen himself or a Talmud Chacham, because Aaron says I'm lo neicheli. It's not nice. I'm not happy that my family coming getting an Amoritz coming to the Mishpachas Kahuna. So possibly, since that Rav Khana, even though it was a Kohen, but from Beis Eli, which is had a curse, he was afraid that would lo nechel Aaron a Kohen to marry Yisrael, because he says, I don't want such a, I need a Kohen or a Talmud Chochem, maybe because Rav Khana was worried, I'm from Beis Eli, they have a curse over there, maybe that's already compromising my inyan of a Kohen also. I'm not a regular Kohen, I'm a Kohen with a curse, possibly he was a Kohen, but, and the reason he says he suffered, he married Kohenas, because he felt he wasn't a Kohen Muslim. Again, that's just another possibility. There's another possibility. But the Pashtus, one of the, like I said, the Seder brings, he was talking not a Kohen, from the mother's side, he was a Kohen. Anyway, from here, we see though, he was Ma'arich Yomim, so according to this, he definitely had the Tchias HaMeisim, he came back to Babel, and he was Ma'arich Yomim, yeah. So that now, who was what was learning with Rav Ashi, which is the last of the Emoroim? Either he was Ma'arich Yomim, that's one of the options, like we said, till Rav Ashi, or like the Tosfos and Adam, there was 2 or 3 Rav Khana. There was 2 or 3 different Rav Khana. But this Rav Khana that was a Talmud of Rav, it says clearly, told them, don't be embarrassed to go and mafshit nevela bashuk, skin the animal, and don't say kahana on it. Okay, that's not a big question. Says, I mean, your name is kahana. That's not, you're not Rav, you're not a Kohen. Your name is kahana. But we could say either he was a Kohen, or we could say he was not. He was just married to Kohenas. But upon him, it's all clear from this rayas that Rav Khana went back to life and back to Babel, and he lived, was Ma'arich Yomim in Babel after the case of Tchias HaMeisim of Rav Khana.